If you could tell me a little bit on what the hell to do with my psoas, that would be great, because last time you showed me a strengthening routine, you showed me a little bit on stretching, and for the viewers who also need to strengthen and stretch their psoas, what are the common things that you can do for stretching, since we've talked about strengthening already?
So I wouldn't differentiate between the two, between strengthening and stretching, okay? Because to isolate one quality is to, negate the fact that both things are happening at the same time when you're functionally moving, right? So you're stretching and you're using strength, you're using mobility, everything's happening at once when you're training, when you're moving, right? When you're doing anything functional. So it's very important to not think of them as separate things. You want to train the range of motion of the psoas so that it's strong in its functional range of motion, right? So rather than just thinking, I'm just gonna stretch it, right? Like every other muscle, because it doesn't really work like that, like every other muscle. Just same thing with most stretching routines. We don't actually want to, especially before a performance, we don't want to stretch it to the point where it just completely relaxes and then we don't have enough juice to do the work, because then we can injure ourselves, right? But most people's psoas, as you stated, it is too tight, right? And that's mostly coming from like a flexion lifestyle.
Can you show people what a flexion lifestyle looks like?
So flexion just...
Is it sitting like this on a desk and working like a velociraptor?
So we know that the psoas like wraps around the legs and comes up to the spine, right? Like
we know.
Around here. Okay. So flexion would be anything where
what I'm doing.
Move in this direction. Yes, in that direction. Okay. And extension would be extending it forward, right? Like that. So
we need more extension if we are constantly in flexion?
Yes, and most people are flexion addicted. I mean,
addicted?
Yeah, we're addicted to flexion. We love it.
Are you addicted to flexion?
Everybody is. It feels good. That's where we sleep, right? That's where we feel comfortable.
Yeah, I sleep like this, like a baby.
Right.
So I am addicted to flexion. I don't ever want to be here. Right. Like this doesn't feel the most comfortable.
Right, you can meditate
for a long
there.
time.
Right. You can meditate there, you can recover there. That's a great place to recover. But most people are not going to feel comfortable enough to sleep that way, right?
All right.
So, and sitting in chairs the way chairs are designed, which has nothing to do with what's actually good for us. It's just chairs have been designed to get us off the floor, away from the rats. So
that's how chairs were designed?
That's what they were designed for, to get us off of the ground, right?
But we don't have rats anymore.
Yeah.
Do you have rats?
New York.
I don't have. Oh, yeah, you're from the city.
Yes. So, like this low squat that's happening right now, this is not something.
So why aren't our chairs like that? That gets me off the floor too.
Right.
I'm just looking like I'm peeing in public. That's.
I don't know.
But I could work like this.
Some people do. Some people have chosen that lifestyle. Some people have. They have new ergonomic chairs that you can sit with your feet up. Right? People get footstools, things like that. They have chairs that you can actually kneel while you're sitting at the...
I have tried those and they made me uncomfortable. I think they made like something numb because of the way it was. It doesn't support the back. You just kind of sit like this, right? You're supported by the knee and then a little bit by the butt. So it's a here and here, like a double stool.
So if we're talking about like, daily maintenance or what we're doing throughout the day, as far as like for the psoas or just good posture in general, because the psoas does affect posture, obviously. Right. Sitting at a desk, it would be best to change what you're sitting on several times a day. So you can't sit on a yoga ball all day because that's going to be, very unstable and exhausting to constantly have to rebalance your body. Same thing with that kneeling chair. Okay. Yeah. So it's good to have various types of chairs and be able to switch to standing if possible. Some people have desks that actually rise up.
I used to have a desk that was sitting and standing, and I would rise it up and down. And I thought, I'm just being such a diva that I can't have a normal standing desk and just stand all day like my other coworkers, but I wanted the one that goes up and down. So you're saying that's actually better if I can stand and then sit and maybe sit in something else.
Right. So low squat, sit, right? No back support, some back support, but you're switching positions regularly, right? So that you don't get stuck. in one position, because then tension up, especially when you're looking at something visually, your mind will go completely into that thing and you will forget about what's happening with your body. You won't even feel your body because you're just thinking about the thing that's in front of you. So, that's the problem with modern society, with, the way most modern jobs is we're just getting lost in the mind and we're not feeling our bodies. Yeah. So it's good to just maybe set a timer every 15 minutes to a half an hour and just switch positions, or get up, do a couple of squats. And one thing that you can do, the easiest psoas exercise that anybody can access at any time and stretches and strengthens is just a simple bridge.
Okay, let's do the bridge. Okay.
And we'll do like a yoga therapy type of bridge where...
Yoga therapy type?
Yes. So a therapeutic type of bridge that has to do with breathing as the mechanism for moving, okay? So this is an inhale function, okay? Exhale function is flexion, inhale function is extension. So since we're in flexion most of the day, we're gonna work on extension. So your arms are at the side, palms down. Your feet are just comfortably placed as close to the hips as you can.
Okay.
You want to energize your feet into the ground, energize your hands into the ground a little bit, okay? And your shoulders are the other point of contact, so the shoulders are energized into the ground as well. Now the inhale is going to expand the chest, and you want to ride the expansion of the chest, lifting your hips and your arms up over your head. So inhale all the way. Okay. You can exhale here to hold position. Take long, deep breaths, trying to stretch the breath out about 6 seconds. Inhale, 6 seconds exhale. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You can also just breathe out through the nose as well. And to get like a good effect, you want to stay here for at least 6 breaths. And every time you inhale, you could think about lifting your psoas, lifting your waist up towards the ceiling, higher and higher and higher. And every time you exhale, feel your root with the ground, the points of contact with the ground, your arms, your shoulders, your feet. And to come out, you exhale, hands and hips move together. Everything lands at the same time, the breath, hips, and the hands. So that's a static version. You might feel like you want more mobility, so you could do a dynamic version where you inhale and lift. Exhale, reverse. And you can just pump that anywhere from 10 to 20 times.
So you were saying your rhomboids are doing so much work against gravity if you have anterior pelvic tilt.
So you have the anterior pelvic tilt, right? Like this little butt sticking out thing, okay? And now my rhomboids are doing a lot of work to hold me upright. If they didn't, I would fall forward like this. Right. Okay, so the rhomboids are working to keep me up. And rhomboids get tense, especially for computer work.
And for people who don't know, your rhomboids are right here.
And then the head goes forward like this to counterbalance. So now everything is working in opposite directions to counterbalance with the gravity, and everything's getting tense, the tension's held. Then we have things like tension headaches, different problems like that.
So this exercise helps stretch your psoas in case you have anterior pelvic tilt and your rhomboids are doing way too much work and your head is going forward. And
this also leads to a more defensive posture, which can lead to like depression, right? And things like that. So, yeah.
What do you do with your head when you do this leaning against the wall?
My head? You don't want to think about your head. You want to think about where your eyes are going, because wherever your eyes go, your head will follow. Right? So we want to think a little bit more in a somatic manner, meaning like we're thinking about the feeling of what we're doing rather than the technical portions. Because if we're thinking about it like every little piece of the chain, then wherever our mind goes in the body, our whole body organizes tension around that place. Where we want the whole body to be working together rather than just isolating one part of the body. Right. So even though I'm doing a psoas exercise, I'm not thinking about my psoas.
You're just making your eyes go kind of up and down.
So I mentioned this last time, everything is a full body breathing exercise, right? Nothing is just a psoas exercise.
Right.
And the psoas moves the entire body. It's the most powerful movement in the body. So you want everything to work together, and you want to teach everything to work together, right? I don't want to just strengthen my psoas with no function, right? Or stretch my psoas with no function, right? I practice within function, what I'm going to do in day-to-day life. Back to the wall exercise. If I keep my eyes, if I think about what I'm doing with my head, I can think about moving my head back, but if I'm looking in the wrong direction, right, I can't see where I'm going. There's going to be fear, and the organization of my body is going to be fearful.
Right.
So I follow my fingertips. I breathe to expand. I find the wall with my fingertips. And then I walk down, right? And then from here, see, I still keep my eyes there. If I start thinking about my psoas, I'll probably stop looking at the wall, and look what happens to my posture. So I want to keep looking at my fingers.
Okay.
Okay, and then to come out,
Yeah, the fingers.
inhale up, exhale, arms down. Now I'll show the easier way, which is a little less scary and probably more appropriate for people to try first.
Okay.
So one hand at a time, okay? I just reach up with one hand, reach for the wall, watching the fingertips, right? And then I bring the other hand, okay? And then to come back up, I just reverse it. I put my weight on that one hand, and I reach up with the other one, okay? So I'll do this a little bit more fluidly without talking so that it looks better, okay? And there can be a little push off, right? And a reach with this hand to bring you back up. And then we have something that looks a little bit more dance-like.
I like that.
Also, if there's some fear, you can always get a spotter to come over and like put their hands under your back, right? And then eventually this is more advanced, and you should have a lot more of this first before you try this. You should be rid of all the fear before you start trying to go lower and lower. And then see, you should be able to see the wall that you're gonna touch before you touch it. If you can't see the wall, if you can't see the wall, you're more likely to have an accident.
Yeah, don't go there if you don't see it. Don't go there. That makes sense.
If you can see it,
Woo.
you'll be fine, right? And I can't do a full back bend to the ground, but that's how you build it up.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was awesome. From Pascal with GU Holistic Wellness.